This is George Dionne with Metal Express Radio, and I'm here with Ann Autumn of the band Upon Wings. How you doing today, Ann?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. If I knew absolutely nothing about Upon Wings, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Wow, that is so hard. I mean, I think we have a lot of different elements. We've been called everything from symphonic metal to new metal, which I think is cool because I love new metal. I never would have thought of us that way. We don't have rapping or anything like that, but hard rock, classical, I mean, gothic, we've been described as everything, but I think probably the best description would be kind of a gothic sounding, classically influenced hard rock and metal sound.
Is this a band project or is this more of a solo thing for you?
It's a band project. I mean, I could never do all this stuff myself. And yeah, I mean, I love bands. And when I first got into rock and metal music, it was always bands that I fell in love with, not just a person. And so with Upon Wings, I definitely went out there wanting to do a band.
Okay, how and when did Upon Wings come together?
Well, we kind of date back to around 2010, which is so weird because that was so long ago. But really, that was just me releasing our first song. And that was a song that I worked on with one other person, Glenn Brown, who is a producer here in the area. And he's super talented, and he helped me bring one of my songs to life. So technically, we date back to 2010. But our debut EP and our first rock stuff came out around 2013.
You just released a new single, Eternal Way, featuring Ralf Scheepers of Primal Fear. Talk a little bit about the meaning of the song, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so Eternal Way it has a similar theme to some of Upon Wings' other music, because I really write from just my personal experience. It's, hard to write from anywhere else but that vantage point. And it's about losing someone close to you, but still feeling like that person is giving you power in this life, and that person is there with you, and they're kind of like your eternal way, and that you'll see them again.
Are you a spiritual person by nature?
I am, yeah. I am. It's not always, easy, but I definitely am.
Okay. It's not easy in practice. It's not easy in a world that kind of once accepted it, but now you don't know whether to share such, deep personal things with people these days.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different. And sometimes, people think of religion and it can have some negative connotations, but spirituality is different, from religion, and religions are different too. So if that makes sense.
No, I know what you're saying. One's an organized structure. The other one is just a belief system in a higher power, something greater than yourself.
Yes, yeah. You put it very well. You put it much better than I did, so thank you.
So how did you get Ralf Scheepers involved in this?
Yeah, so I first discovered Ralf just last year, which is so crazy because he's been around for a long, long time. And obviously he has years and decades of work with Gamma Ray and Primal Fear. And I discovered Primal Fear and their new record, Meadow Commando. I just loved, and I was just like, this guy, I mean, I had never heard a better singer. I'm like, this guy can really sing. And when I was finished with Eternal Way, I felt like it kind of would benefit from having a male vocal on there. I haven't done that too much. We had Brett Hessla on my song Afterlife, or our song Afterlife, on our debut EP, but he didn't sing too much on the vocal, so we've never had a true duet, if that makes sense. So This is really cool to make this almost a duet. And I reached out to him, and he was kind enough to be interested and to do it. So obviously he's in Germany and I'm here in the US, and we did everything online and exchanged tracks that way, and that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, that's excellent. I would have never thought of just to reach out to another musician and been like, hey, you want to work on this with me? That's kind of cool that it worked out.
I know. I was definitely worried because he's legendary and everything, but he was very nice to work with and just a great person. So
You also have Max from Falling in Reverse playing guitar. Is this sort of the same situation? You kind of reached out to them, or do you know him from something else?
Yeah, with Max, that was actually cool because our producer, Kevin Jardine of Slaves on Dope, and he also played the main guitars and everything on this song. He he was gonna lay down the solo, and he was like, "Well, one of my buddies is in town who I grew up with. Do you mind if I have him do it?" And so he was like, "Yeah, he's in a band called like Falling in Reverse." And I thought, "Wow, of course, that's a great band. I really like that band." So I was really honored to have Max on there. He's their lead touring guitarist, and his solo was great. I just thought it totally fit the song, and it was just amazing.
Are you planning a music video for the song at some point?
Actually, the music video just came out a few hours ago.
Ah,
Yeah, so I'll make sure I'll send it to you, and people can check that out at uponwings.com or youtube.com/uponwingsofficial.
awesome. You Upon Wings has been mainly releasing singles over the last couple of years. Is
Mhm.
there a full album or another EP on the way?
Yeah, we are working on an EP. And yeah, we have been doing the singles thing, which I like because then every track kind of gets its own little spotlight. But there is something to be said for having a collection of songs. And it's been a long time since we have done an EP. So I'm definitely ready for us to get a full EP out there. And I really hope to do that later this year.
Does Upon Wings play live, or is it more of a studio project?
Well, we haven't played live yet. I was hoping to make that happen last year before everything, the world shut down and just everything stopped. So I'm hoping that once things get back at it and open up and that sort of thing, that we can get out there and do some shows. It's hard because we're all over the place. Kevin is our main producer and guitarist and stuff, and he's in Canada. And so people are just kind of all over the place. But I think it will definitely be worth it once we get everyone on the same stage. It'll be worth it.
Sure. While I was checking out your new single, I noticed a couple other singles that you had released recently. They differ a little bit from the genre that you described the band as being. I noticed you had a single for Amazing Grace. Any particular reason that you released that as a single?
Yeah, so Amazing Grace it came out around the time when COVID first hit. And I kept hearing that song just everywhere because it was giving people hope, especially that it was March really of last year when I was hearing that song all the time. And I never thought about really covering that song or anything like that. But I thought, I was just inspired. So we recorded it with Corey Lowry of Seether, who is really awesome. And he did guitars on it and stuff like that. And we put it out as a charity single. So we haven't even properly released it on like iTunes or anything like that. It was more that people would donate to a charity of their choice. And then they'd email us and say, "Hey, I donated." And we would send them the song for free. So that was more of like a charity single. And we've also done some holiday songs, which I'm so cheesy. I love holiday stuff. But that's why I was excited to get Eternal Way out there and get back to our heavier metal roots.
Sure. Do you do anything else within the music industry?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I have a podcast, and my day job is in radio and writing and stuff like that. So kind of not everything I do, but a lot of what I do in life is related to music somehow. I just love music. I mean, I've always just wanted my life to have anything to do with music.
Are you a professionally trained singer, or is it something that you picked up along the years?
I guess you could say I'm professionally trained because when I started vocal lessons when I was pretty young. I want to say middle school. And then throughout high school and then even in college, I studied voice. So I am trained, which sometimes in this genre, I wish I wasn't because I want to just kind of scream, or I want to have a more like snarly voice or something like that. But the nice thing is that with the Pine Wings, since we are more the operatic metal, it does, end up fitting the genre. But for a long time, I wished that I had a Joan Jett type voice.
Do you have a boring day job that's not music related?
Not really. I mean, writing, but I do a lot of my assignments are about music. So
Yeah.
I don't think I could, as of right now, I have in life, I've had all kinds of jobs, I guess, but as of right now, fingers crossed, knock on wood, no boring day job.
Well, that's good. A lot of those guys like Ralph and them over in Germany, they all seem to be plugging along with just music.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. I mean, it's so hard these days to make it just doing music. So I'm so happy to see so many bands having that kind of success where maybe they're not, Metallica or something, but they're making a living doing music.
Yeah, I think that really that music has just changed over the last 2 or 3 decades in the sense of getting it out there and what you expect to get back. Like even just, doing this, I used to have my own blog 10 years ago and it was all about, how much traffic did your site get for somebody to talk to you? And now that I've gotten back into it, I'm like, they don't seem so much interested in how much traffic I get versus we're going to get some coverage.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Things have changed so much in the music business just the past few years. I mean, when I look at when we released Afterlife in 2013, it really was a different world. And that wasn't even 10 years ago. So this time around, it was the first time we kind of focused on, okay, Spotify, how can we get it out there and that sort of thing. We just, even 8 years ago, it just wasn't a thing.
Right. There's just so many venues now with social media and music platforms and stuff like that. But it's good for the smaller artists like yourself.
Yeah, it is because you can just get your music out there. And, obviously decades ago, you had to be on a huge label to get your music out there. So it definitely helps.
Is there anything else that you wanted to touch upon that I didn't ask about?
Not really. Just if people want to check out the band, we'd appreciate if they would follow us on social media and stuff like that. So Facebook and Twitter, Upon Wings. And then YouTube is youtube.com/UponWingsOfficial. And then you can also find us on Spotify, Pandora, and, wherever you listen.
And the new single is Eternal Way. It features Ralf Scheepers of Primal Fear. It's a great song. I would encourage people to check it out as well.
Well, thank you so much.
And I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with Metal Express Radio today.
Thank you so much. You guys rock.